and welcome to another edition of Baking with Beth. Today we are going to go over how to make pumpkin puree from scratch. That's right, from an actual pumpkin. This is going to help us make our own pumpkin pie from scratch, but today I'm going to show you how to get a small little pumpkin and make puree out of it so you can make any pumpkin pie recipe your heart desires. So stick around and let's get to baking. How much time do we have? 3 minutes. Great. Whoa. I don't like that sentence. That was a terrible sentence. First things first is we are going to grab our pie pumpkin. This little guy you can buy at Trader Joe's for just a couple of dollars. If you mess up on this pumpkin, you can just go buy another one and try again. Or you can buy canned pumpkin, but just follow these simple steps and we will have our pumpkin puree. The first thing we are going to do is wash our pumpkin. I've already washed mine, and we're gonna cut the stem off. And then we're gonna cut the pumpkin in half. Be careful you don't chop off any fingers. It's a rather tough vegetable, but you can do it. Now we're gonna take all of the gunk out from our pumpkin. So go ahead and grab a spoon and just start scraping away. What we like to do in my family is separate the seeds and then bake those with some seasoning. And then you get a nice little fall treat, but you can just throw these away if you want. You want all of the strings out from your pumpkin. If you can see, there's still a lot of strings in here, so just keep scraping away until you get the majority out. So we still got some strings here, but it's gonna be fine. Okay, now let's do the other one. Okay, still a little stringy, but that'll do, pig, that'll do. Now that we have taken all of our gross, yucky pumpkin insides out from the pumpkin, we're gonna grab a piece of foil and place our pumpkins face down on our cookie sheet lined with foil. Once we have our pumpkins on our baking sheet that has foil on it, we are going to cover the pumpkins with another piece of foil. This is gonna ensure that they cook evenly and very nicely. We're gonna bake this at 350 degrees for about an hour and a half or until it's tender. You can start working on your crust or just enjoy the smell of pumpkin baking in your oven. Go ahead and cover your pumpkins and then pop it in the oven. All right, our pumpkin is out of the oven and it smells delicious. The first thing you want to do is make sure that it's done. You can just touch it, and if it feels squishy, it's done. So set it aside and wait for it to cool down. Now this has been cooling for about 15 minutes right now, so it's not too terribly hot. The first thing we want to do is take the skin off. And I can tell you just by looking at it that the skin's gonna come right off. So I'm just gonna pull the skin. So easy. Oh, it looks like a little donut. All right, this is looking good. Take all the skin off. And if it's too hot for you, I would just say let it cool down for a little bit longer until it isn't terribly hot. Use a spoon here to get the edges because they're a little stuck to the foil, which is fine because all the juice is kind of marinated there at the bottom. Great. So now I'm going to scoop this into my food processor and It is so easy. Just perfect, just like that. All right, now let's do the second half. Woohoo! And the best part about this is it's easy cleanup. I love using foil because now we're all done. Now all we have to do is process our pumpkin in our food processor. So I have the blade on here. If you don't have a food processor, you can use it in your mixer if you want. It won't be as smooth of a pumpkin pie, but it definitely will work. You can also be creative, and if you have like a magic bullet or some sort of smoothie machine, you can definitely use that. So we actually have one back there. We have a NutriBullet. So I would use that if I didn't have this. So go ahead and start that. And just like that, it is done. It's like making baby food. Have you ever made baby food? It's the same thing. All right, it looks really good. And I have a feeling that this is gonna taste so good. Whenever you bake something from scratch, it just has that extra element of flavor. Have you ever put pecans in a recipe? I like to bake them first because it brings out the flavor of the pecans. It's kind of the same here. This smells so delicious. So go ahead and make sure all the chunks are gone, and then you'll have your pumpkin puree. Wow. You see that? That's gonna be a good pumpkin pie. Go ahead and you can now use this for any pumpkin pie recipe. I always like to use the Libby's pumpkin pie recipe on the back of the Libby's pumpkin puree can. You can't go wrong with it. You can get fancy if you want, but this is going to be your pumpkin puree now. And I'm so excited for you to try it. I'm so excited for myself to try it. Happy baking.